I usually stay out of these conversations, but with Caitlin Clark, I can't stay silent anymore.
Michael Jordan didn't just step to the microphone, he took control of the moment. What started as a simple acknowledgement quickly became one of the most talked about speeches in recent basketball history. Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham weren't just recognized, they were genuinely moved. On his calm yet commanding voice, Jordan delivered a portrait of their influence that caught everyone off guard. This wasn't a nostalgia trip about his own career, which is a bold statement about the present and the future, about who's driving the game forward right now. And here's the twist. Jordan almost never speaks publicly about women's basketball. Off the court, he's famously selective with his words, saving them for moments he believes truly matter. That's why his unscripted praise for Clark and Cunningham hit so hard. No lights, no teleprompter, just pure, heartfelt respect. And the basketball world felt it instantly. There was no stage, no cameras flashing, no scripted fanfare, just Michael Jordan's quiet authority cutting through the noise to honor two women who are rewriting the definition of greatness in today's game. What made the moment powerful wasn't simply that he spoke, it was what he chose to say. Caitlin Clark's name is already everywhere. Her rookie year has toppled WNBA records, packed arenas, and sent TV ratings climbing. But Jordan didn't rattle off stats or headlines. Instead, he went deeper, describing her style as something you can't teach on the witness. What impressed him most wasn't her shooting range or highlight reels, it was her presence. Some players need time to adjust to the spotlight, he said. She walked in already on fire. Clark's game has long earned comparisons to basketball's elite, men and women alike. But Jordan's words carried a different weight. This wasn't a comparison, it was confirmation. He didn't see her as the future of women's basketball, he saw her as the present of basketball, period. Then, in a move few expected, Jordan shifted to Sophie Cunningham. She may not dominate headlines, but to him, her influence is just as vital. He called her a storm in sneakers, a player who doesn't chase attention but transforms the game every time she takes the court. Her grit, her refusal to back down, her willingness to dive into plays others avoid, Jordan made it clear. That's the kind of impact that lasts. It's personal. Michael Jordan said, and in his mind, that's the difference between a player and a true competitor. Coming from a man who built his career on turning competition into obsession, the praise carried a weight far beyond the box score. Sophie Cunningham wasn't being recognized for popularity or media buzz. She was being honored for the fire behind every hard screen, every fearless rebound, every defensive stand. This wasn't a marketing push or a carefully staged moment. It was a genuine nod from a legend who's seen the game from every possible angle. What Jordan recognized in both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham wasn't just raw skill, it was proof the future of basketball isn't somewhere on the horizon. It's here, right now. And in just a few deliberate sentences, Jordan sliced through years of noise about women's visibility in sports, making one thing crystal clear: greatness has no qualifiers without a single camera in sight. Michael Jordan managed something most full-page ads can't. He made people feel the shift. And when a voice like his speaks, even in a whisper, the whole court leans in to listen. The question now was, this simply a show of support, or the spark of something much bigger? The answer started to take shape when another legend stepped forward. Larry Bird, famously selective with his praise, joined the conversation. Known for his quiet demeanor and razor-sharp eye for genuine talent, Bird didn't just mention Caitlin Clark, he placed her alongside the very game that defined his youth. Reflecting on the 2023 to 2024 season, Bird admitted he tuned in to more Iowa Hawkeyes games than he ever expected. He even compared Clark's performances to his own days at Indiana State. That wasn't nostalgia, it was respect. Respect from a man whose career was built on precision, grit, and an unparalleled basketball IQ. Bird's understated nod sent a clear signal. Clark isn't just dominating women's college basketball, she's reshaping the sport itself. And Bird wasn't the only towering figure to say so. Another legend, both in presence and in stature, soon added his voice to the growing chorus. Known for his unwavering loyalty to LSU, and Angel Reese delivered a twist few saw coming. Long viewed as a voice for Clark's fiercest rival, Shaq caught fans off guard during a live broadcast when he admitted something many had quietly suspected: Caitlin Clark had won him over. He didn't speak as an analyst or a critic. He spoke as a fan. "I'm not Shaq right now," he said. "I'm a fan." That single line shifted the mood instantly. Shaq confessed he had doubts, wondering if Clark's TV persona could match the magic she brought to the court. But after watching her play up close, those doubts vanished. Her vision, her leadership, her ability to make the right decision every time down the floor. She wasn't just filling the stat sheet. She was controlling the game. Hearing that from one of the most dominant forces in NBA history, a man who redefined the center position and powered his way to 4 championships, wasn't just validation, it was revelation. But the moment wasn't only about Clark, as she earned praise for her brilliance. Sophie Cunningham was being celebrated for something less flashy but just as vital: consistency, grit, and relentless hustle. It's the kind of contribution Jordan spotlighted, the kind Bird respects. And now Shaq recognizes from his own climb to the top. Together, Clark and Cunningham are carving out different yet complementary paths in the WNBA, forcing basketball's biggest names to reconsider what greatness looks like today. And when that recognition comes from legends who know exactly what it takes to carry a team or even a league, it hits differently. Across arenas, conversations are changing. Not because of hype, but because these two women are showing something rare. Two leaders with completely different styles, redefining how to compete, how to lead, and how to elevate an entire league. Asterisk, deep range and fast break flair. Sophie Cunningham brings the bruising intensity and veteran grit. What draws basketball legends to them isn't just the stat lines, it's the substance. Tyrese Halliburton sees it clearly. The Indiana Pacers guard, who understands the weight of carrying a city's hopes, talks about Caitlin not like a celebrity fan, but like a fellow point guard on the same mission. Just a point guard's trying to lead, he said. His respect unmistakable. It's not just talk, he shows up at our games, voices his support, and understands the pressure she's under. Indiana, once a rebuilding franchise, is buzzing again because of her presence. That's leadership, bridging generations. And the pull extends far beyond fans and teammates. It's changing free agency. As sports commentator Jason Whitlock put it bluntly, people want to play with Caitlin Clark. In a league where chemistry is currency and rosters are always in flux, Clark has become a magnet. This isn't about market size or endorsement deals, it's about culture. She offers trust, discipline, and direction. But Clark isn't the only force shaping Indiana's identity. Sophie Cunningham, traded to the Fever in 2025, didn't arrive to blend in. She came to change the beat. If Clark is the face of the future, Sophie is its steel. From Columbia to Phoenix to Indiana, her career has never been about flash, it's been about force. She might not drop 30 a night, but she'll take a charge, bury a clutch three, and fire up a locker room like few can. Her defense suffers, her energy infects. And when Clark took a hard foul in a tense June matchup, Sophie wasted no time storming across the court to stand up for her. No hesitation, no apology. That wasn't about starting drama, it was about sending a message. Sophie Cunningham wasn't just defending a teammate, she was defending the culture Indiana's building, one built on fearlessness, loyalty, and unity. Sophie Cunningham brings the bruising intensity and veteran grit. What draws basketball legends to them isn't just the stat lines, it's the substance. Tyrese Halliburton sees it clearly. The Indiana Pacers guard, who understands the weight of carrying a city's hopes, talks about Caitlin not like a celebrity fan, but like a fellow point guard on the same mission. Just a point guard's trying to lead, he said. His respect unmistakable. It's not just talk, he shows up at our games, voices his support, and understands the pressure she's under. Indiana, once a rebuilding franchise, is buzzing again because of her presence. That's leadership, bridging generations. And the pull extends far beyond fans and teammates. It's changing free agency. As sports commentator Jason Whitlock put it bluntly, people want to play with Caitlin Clark. In a league where chemistry is currency and rosters are always in flux, Clark has become a magnet. This isn't about market size or endorsement deals, it's about culture. She offers trust, discipline, and direction. But Clark isn't the only force shaping Indiana's identity. Sophie Cunningham, traded to the Fever in 2025, didn't arrive to blend in. She came to change the beat. If Clark is the face of the future, Sophie is its steel. From Columbia to Phoenix to Indiana, her career has never been about flash, it's been about force. She might not drop 30 a night, but she'll take a charge, bury a clutch three, and fire up a locker room like few can. Her defense suffers, her energy infects. And when Clark took a hard foul in a tense June matchup, Sophie wasted no time storming across the court to stand up for her. No hesitation, no apology. That wasn't about starting drama, it was about sending a message. Sophie Cunningham wasn't just defending a teammate, she was defending the culture Indiana's building, one built on fearlessness, loyalty, and unity. But watch any Indiana Fever game and Sophie Cunningham's influence is impossible to miss. She's the one hitting the floor for loose balls, shouting out defensive rotations, and shifting momentum without needing her name in headlines. That's exactly why the game's legends are paying attention. They're not just backing any WNBA stars, they're backing Clark and Cunningham because they see something deeper. Raw drive, authentic, toughness, and leadership that refuses to fade under pressure. This isn't a passing headline, it's a movement. One defined not only by who scores but by who commands respect when the game is on the line. For Caitlin Clark, one of those defining moments didn't happen in an arena, but on a list she wasn't on. When the 2024 US Olympic roster was announced and her name was missing, the silence spoke volumes. Here was the player who had electrified college basketball, broken attendance records, and pulled women's hoops into the national spotlight, left off the sport's grandest stage. Fans voiced their outrage, but Clark didn't. She stayed quiet and went to work. The snub, whether calculated or not, gave her something rare. Space away from Olympic distractions, media frenzies, and global schedules. Space to sharpen her game. No cameras followed her into the gym. No breaking news. Alerts tracked her every move. Just sweat, just film study, and the steady rhythm of someone turning doubt into fuel. Dwight Howard, watching from a distance, called it what it was, a challenge, and he didn't expect her to shrink, he expected her to grow. Meanwhile, the criticism kept coming. Former NBA guard Jeff Teague didn't mince words. He called Clark's omission not only a missed opportunity for the Olympics, but a missed chance for the WNBA to fully embrace a player who was already changing the game. Jeff Teague said, pointing to the spike in ticket sales, the flood of merchandise, and the surge in attendance. Clark wasn't just another talented rookie, she was the axis of a movement. Yet on the court, the reception she got felt less like a welcome and more like a warning shot. Rick Barry, the Hall of Famer who'd lived through basketball's most physical eras, didn't hide his disgust. "It's personal," he said, of the way defenders targeted Clark. Coming from someone who once thrived in the roughest brand of basketball, those words carried weight. But Clark didn't lash out. Every shove, every cheap foul, every cold shoulder, she absorbed it in silence, answering not with complaints, but with execution. A quiet uprising was in motion. If Clark was the calm in the storm, Sophie Cunningham was the storm itself. When the fever stumbled through early season inconsistency, Sophie didn't sugarcoat it. After a frustrating June 2025 loss, she stood at the podium, eyes locked, voice steady. "Why are we not being consistent?" It wasn't a question, it was a challenge to her teammates, her coaches, and herself.